when we completed it in March of 22, we ended up with about $200,000 in it. It's 858 square feet.
Actually, our very first booking was an Airbnb booking. And we got it within, I think, the first day it went live.
My name is Lex, and this is Bronx. We bought and renovated this Airstream and this camper, this tiny home, then this Airstream, then another Airstream, and finally, we designed and built this tiny home. And now I'm on a mission to learn about the best travel experiences across the world. Welcome to Experiential Travel. Welcome back to another episode of the Experiential Travel podcast, where we talk to hosts that run short-term rental businesses that just do it right. On this podcast, we love to highlight people that offer experiences that are not just a place to stay for the night, like a hotel, but offer an experience around hospitality. And I'll tell you what, this couple does it better than anyone else I know. They have a silo in Georgia, and I didn't know what a silo was. And so before this podcast, I had to look up what a silo was. That is because I am from California, and I know we don't really have those here. I'm so excited to talk to these hosts about how they run their property and everything how they started, but then how they are able to have such a gorgeous property and then bring in tons of influencers, and how they're doing direct bookings straight to their website. Their property sits on 20 acres in Chickamauga, Georgia. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And I am so excited to introduce Stephanie and Gene Lesley.
Hi.
Thank you for inviting us to do this.
Yeah, of course. So are you guys originally from Georgia?
No, neither one of us are.
We were
Really?
both born in different cities, but we grew up here in the Chattanooga area.
Okay, nice.
I grew up in North Georgia. He grew up in Chattanooga.
So Chattanooga's 20 minutes from here. So we're right on the Georgia-Tennessee line.
Okay. Are you guys Tennessee fans or Georgia fans?
Georgia. I am.
Georgia?
She's actually a Florida fan. She was born in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. I know Morgan Wallen has a great song that talks about the Tennessee-Georgia rivalry, and I love it. I like vicariously live through. We don't have football teams that we really care about on the West Coast. Nothing like Tennessee and Georgia. So you guys started in your properties in Georgia. What made you guys choose this location?
Well, we've actually lived on the location for close to 26 years.
It's on our property. On your property.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Incredible. And so what made you guys build a silo and get into the whole short-term rental game?
So we looked at maybe alternatives for income after retirement, and I guess in about 2019 we started toying with the idea of, what could we do? And we looked at tiny houses, and we looked at mobile homes, and just knew that we wanted to do something different so that we wouldn't be like everybody else necessarily.
So did you guys have you guys obviously lived on your property for now 26 years?
Right.
Lived on the property for 26 years and then retired, and then kind of looked at each other one day and were like, let's have another revenue stream?
Well, we're not retired yet. we have about 10 more years, we hope.
Yeah, retirement hopefully is 10 years out.
We're just trying to look ahead.
We just wanted to be able to create something, get it paid for, and then have a good revenue stream.
I love it. So then how big is your property that you guys are on?
We're on 20 acres.
20 acres?
Yeah. Yep.
The silo sits on about 3
acres.
Are you guys wanting to do more units on the 20 acres?
We've talked about it, but I don't think that we will. Our children eventually want to build on the property as well. We would like to, but I think we're going to maybe look elsewhere for somewhere else to do others. And it won't be a silo. It'll be something else.
The first couple steps is obviously choosing your market, finding your land. That kind of just fell into your lap with your own land. So that's perfect. And then the next would be structures. What drew you to doing a silo?
Well, we have a friend, his name is Vance Jones, and he actually lives in one. He's what I like to call a junker necker. He can take junk off the side of the road and make it into something fabulous.
Oh my
and he
goodness.
kept posting.
What was that term called?
Junker necker.
Junker necker.
Instead of rednecker, it's a junker necker. He kept posting pictures of his silo that he lives in. And actually, you're going to get a lot of comments. They're actually called grain bins. And people will correct you if you call them silos, but they can also be called grain bin silos, and we just thought silos sounded better. But Vance posted pictures of his, and we just asked to go over and look at it one day, and we went over and looked at it, and as soon as we walked out, he's like, that's it. That's what I want to build. And he actually builds these for people all around the United States. And mostly a lot of gazebo and pool house type things.
I think we may have been his first short-term rental that he built, because his company was really just getting started when we went and talked to him.
Did you guys do any research before on the permitting or zoning aspect of it, or were you guys just built it out?
Can't lie.
So we're A1 zoned, which is agriculture, and our county does not have really any restrictions on short-term rental.
Yes.
Yet. Chattanooga is facing a lot of that right now, and people I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're not giving any permits out now to do short-term rental until they can structure it the way that the city wants to. So we're fortunate to be just 20 minutes from Chattanooga and not really have restrictions.
We had to go about it just like we were building a residential home. We had to get all the soil samples. The inspector came out and had to inspect every step of the way, just as if you were building a custom home. And we had to pass all their inspections.
You guys did you guys get structural plans and architectural plans submitted to the county and do that whole?
No.
Nope.
We basically just.
But they still inspected it.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and they weren't quite sure what they were inspecting.
So we dug the footers, and they came out and they looked at it, and they're like, "What the heck are you building? It's just a big circle." And so we're gonna put a grain bin on top of it and turn it into something you can live in.
Yeah, that was the first for them.
So they didn't really know how to treat it or what codes would apply. So they just said, okay, we're going to treat this just like it's a traditional structure, and we'll do all the same inspections that we would do for a normal home.
And you guys built it. Who did the gentleman that you guys?
Yeah, Vance Jones.
He built it.
He
himself.
did.
So the silos, we actually have, it's two silos, one inside of another. So we purchased two silos that came from Illinois. They still had corn dust on the inside of them. So all that had to be cleaned before we could even start construction.
Okay.
And the basically you build the outer layer, and just like in a traditional home, you do your plumbing, your electrical, your insulation, and then you put up your second wall, which is the second grain bin. Yeah. And of course, it comes in panels that are about 3 foot wide and 8 or 9 foot long, and you bolt them together to create a circle, and then then you put the roof on, and you assemble the roof over the first ring, and then you start.
No, the roof goes. Are you talking about the inside?
No, I'm talking about the initial structure that you start with.
Start with one ring.
You're gonna start with one ring, and then you assemble the roof panels, and they're in triangular shapes, and they bolt together, and then you take grain bin jacks and you lift the structure up high enough to add the second ring, and then you just keep adding rings till you get to the height that you want.
It's like a big puzzle.
I love that.
So
it's like adult Legos.
Yeah, we refer to our Lincoln Logs, maybe. But we had to run electricity. We had to run water lines out there. All the things that you would do for a residential.
So utilities, I know when we were starting we're completely off grid. So we had to figure out how we were going to try to do power, water, and septic. And I know that's was for me, my biggest bottleneck in my education aspect of it was trying to learn how to do all three of those. You having a primary residence on your piece of land is amazing because you guys can just pull from that. How hard was that to pull from your primary to your main, or to the silo?
It really wasn't that difficult. The hardest part, we ran underground power. And so the hardest part was when it's approximately 500 foot from the power pole that's next to our driveway out to where the grain bin silo is. And in that 500 feet, they hit 200 foot of solid limestone rock. And power has to be 3 to 4 feet deep. So they basically dug up 200 foot worth of rock and piled it up in front of our barn.
Just huge boulders. I mean, like big as a car.
They probably look incredible, though.
Oh, we used them.
Yeah.
So Vance was kind enough to leave his skid steer here, and I took each rock and created a backdrop for our fire pit area.
Oh, I love that. It's probably
we just
beautiful.
Double stacked them.
Yeah. It worked.
I love it.
People pay big money for it.
Yep. Did you guys have to do your own septic unit for the silo, or were you able to tie into the?
We did.
Yeah, we put a.
Go ahead.
We had to use a septic. We had to put in a septic tank out there.
How much were you guys? How much our septics? When I first got quoted, they were quoting us like $40,000 for a septic because
funny
we're
story.
Pure rock.
So we had good soil, which helped us. We could put in a traditional septic system, and I got quotes, and it was, I think the quotes were about $3,600 to $4,000 to put the septic system in. And the problem was I couldn't find anybody that wanted to do it. Vance had the equipment and the capability to dig the field lines, but you had to have somebody that was authorized to put a septic system in because that has to be inspected also. So I reached out to a couple guys and said, hey, we've already got the field lines dug. We just need you to come in, approve it, saying it's up to code, and then we can drop the tank in and run the field lines. Nobody wanted to do that because somebody else had dug it. They didn't want to put their name on something that someone else had done the work on. So I went to the county, and the county said, well, you can do it yourself. You just have to study up on it and take a test, and you can be certified for your home to put in a septic system. That's what we did.
That's what you did?
It saved us about $1,500.
I was really worried.
And we passed inspection first time, and it was great.
So our county's the same way. Owner builder, we're able to install our own septic unit for our own home, which is honestly, we were getting quoted $40K because we're alternative septic units.
Yeah.
But I,
Gotcha.
when our county guy came by, I was like, to look at our perk test, our perk holes. And he swung by, and I was like, look, we're getting quoted $40,000 to do our septic units. It can't cost that much money. What does it consist of? And so for an hour and a half, he sat down with me and told me how basically to do alternative septic unit. And we ended up being able to figure out that it's only going to it only really costs like $12,000. And the $40,000 was the markup of just because we're in a very outskirts area where there's no labor. So that was the gist of the $40K. And what I feel like your story really resonated with me, that a lot of people take the information that they get at face value and not kind of dig that one step more to figure out what it actually consists of. Was there another story like that you guys had, that besides the septic, that once you realized what it took, it became a lot easier?
Well, the whole thing was they just did that. They'd never done an inspection on a building like ours.
Yeah, so we bought windows, we started construction in August of 21. We met with Vance in June and started building 2 months later. And at that time, supply chain was still really slow, and it was 6 to 7 months to get windows. Well, we wanted to be up and running in 6 to 7 months.
Of course.
So we were fortunate enough to find some windows that a contractor had not used for a job. And we put the windows in, and the inspector comes out, and he goes, well, you don't have egress for your loft. So we put a loft in upstairs, and that's where the king bed is, and the shower and the laundry room. And this was after we'd already installed all the windows and doors. He's like, you don't have egress. And we're like, we don't have any place to put a window. You either put it behind the bed, which made no sense.
Which was the only wall up in the loft.
Yeah.
The only wall.
Or you put it at the top of the stairs. And so that was really our only choice. He said, you have to have, they call it a 3050 window. It's 3 foot by 5 foot. And if there was a fire, a fireman has to be able to come through that window with a tank on his back.
Yep.
So we found the window, the one single window we found from somebody that was building a log cabin, and it was an extra window they weren't going to use. So I went and picked the window up. I took it by the inspector's office before we cut another hole in the grain bin.
Of course.
And I said, is this going to pass inspection? Oh, yeah, that'll pass. We put the window in. They come out to do the inspection. And they said, oh, well, you have to have tempered glass in your window. And we're like,
we just cut a hole in the side for this winter.
So we either had we got really lucky. We either had to replace the glass with tempered glass, or 3M makes a film that they can put, it's a clear film they put over the window.
That makes it up to code.
Yeah, and that gets you to code.
The guy literally came out.
We had
in the dark.
No power at that point.
We had no power. He came out in the dark and used his truck headlights to put this film on the window so we could pass the inspection the next day.
Oh,
and it passed. Because initially they told us we didn't have to have a window upstairs. And then, and I feel like the inspector changed once or twice. Like they changed jobs. So we got a couple different inspectors.
Yeah, there were about 3 inspectors in the county.
None of them were on the same page when the new one came on. So.
That sounds like typical county right there.
Yeah.
Hey, so if you're watching this video, you're probably interested in starting your own off-grid short-term rental. We have created a free masterclass on the 9 steps on how we started our off-grid short-term rental. It's all right here. It's a PDF version or video course. Guess what? It's completely for free. So go ahead, click the link below to download your free 9-step off-grid short-term rental masterclass. It's the blueprint that we use to do ours. And again, it's completely for free. Go ahead, download it. Our whole mission is to empower entrepreneurs to create more unique experiences so their guests can create more lifelong memories with their loved ones. I can tell you that hanging out with this kid with a bonfire in one of our units is my favorite pastime. So go ahead, click the link below to learn how to start your own off-grid short-term rental. All right, back to the video.
Okay, so you get it built. Did you hit the 6 to 7 month mark?
It was right at 8 months. So we started mid-August. We finished the end of March 22.
We had our first renter in the 1st of April.
Okay, so you get it built, and you put it on. What was the first booking platform that you guys put it on?
Well, we actually
I think it was our website.
Yeah, we use Logify.
Yeah.
For our own website, and we just had a girl do it all for us. She connected it all and added all the Airbnb and VRBO and all the things. So actually our very first booking was an Airbnb booking. And we got it within, I think the first day it went live.
So we started posting pictures of the build on social media when we started. Mm-hmm. And so we were kind of, it gave us great content to keep adding to the story. And by the time March and April came around, we had people already, reaching out to us through social media.
And if you do a search for Chattanooga, we come up in the search because we're so close to Chattanooga. So that helps.
Yeah. What are the emotions going through your guys' head once it's built?
We lost our mind.
There was so much.
Were you guys nervous? Was there
Yes.
a bit of like, this might not work out?
Yes.
Well, what you think you're going to spend and what you spend is two different things. When we talked to Vance did all the work on his by himself, other than his electrical and his spray foam insulation. And he gave us a price of what it cost him. So we're thinking, well, for $30,000 more, we can build the same thing. We were double what we expected.
And once we got into it, I was like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. I mean, I have a little bit of expensive taste. So we got custom cabinets and the quartz countertops and all the things that I would want if I were going to live in a home.
Of
but
course.
Yeah, we were nervous about who was going to be our first renters, and they actually turned out to be a precious family that still keeps in touch with us, actually. They had 2 young children, and we sat out we didn't have any grass, any landscaping of any kind. And they wanted to meet us, and we went out and sat out there with them for 3 hours, probably talking to them. And that's been the cool thing about this project is a lot of our guests do want to know all about, because it is unique. They want to know how you built it. And so I would say maybe half of our guests, they want to know all about it. They've invited us out. We've sat out there and talked to them, some for 4 hours. And we have a lot of new friends now.
We give them their space and their peace, but if they ask us to come out, we're happy to do it.
They reach out to us, then we do. And then we have some that don't even wave at us when they drive by. You don't know what you're getting.
Yep. What do you think was the most unexpected cost that you guys weren't preparing for? That kind of increased that expected budget and pushed that over the limit?
So
just the cost of materials.
Yeah, the cost of materials. Of course, cost of labor is usually more than what cost of materials is if you're having it done. We spent as much for 2 grain bins as we did to spray foam insulation the whole bin.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
So that was, we didn't put traditional insulation in because we've got we put spray foam in the floors because that gives you a moisture barrier. And we also did radiant heat. So you do that, and you do the walls, and then you do about 8 to 9 inches of spray foam in the ceiling. And before you know it, you've used a lot of spray foam.
Yeah,
it's very expensive, but it's been worth it. Our utility bill for there is crazy cheap, like $95.
Keeps in the AC, keeps in the heat in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest question we get. People look at it.
They think it's not insulated.
Really?
No, if we've gotten that question one time, we've gotten it 100.
Yeah. Anytime an influencer shares it, that must be hot as you know what? No, it's not. Because I think amazing. Because you have the silo within the silo, they think it's one and the same. They don't understand that it's 2 different ones with insulation.
That's what makes Vance's unique, is he does it differently than there's some other people out there doing it too. And most of them, for their interior walls, they're using either shiplap or they're using sheetrock. And for us, it kind of loses that grain bin appearance, and that's what we wanted to keep.
Do you mind sharing the final cost of the build?
No, we're happy to share it. So we ended up with, when we completed it in March of 22, we ended up with about $200,000 in it.
Nice.
It's 858 square feet. And so you're looking at a little over $200 a square foot.
That's great.
Because it's like a custom built home, because there are no floor plans. When we looked at the layout for the floor plan, we had a gravel floor in the side. We had walls and ceiling up, or walls and roof up, but we didn't have any kind of blueprint to go by. So we took orange marker paint and sprayed where the cabinets were going to go, where the island was going to go, the bathroom was going to go.
The spray paint.
And so it's just like building a custom built home, which is more expensive than than using a blueprints and a cookie cutter type aspect.
Yep.
And then when did we add the hot tub?
So we added the hot tub. We started it in February. We added so our grain bin is a 27-foot diameter grain bin, and we've been tweaking it since we built it. So for a year and a half or better, we've been basically trying to improve it. We reached out to, we have several friends that do short-term rental with shipping containers and tree houses. Mm-hmm. And we reached out to them, and we talked to some other people, and they all said, hot tub is worth it. It'll help you with your bookings. So we took an 18-foot grain bin and added 3 8x8 posts with columns and left the front of it open. And we painted it the same color as the grain bin silo and added the hot tub. So that was another $30,000. So we're
with the hot tub included.
Yeah.
In the build and the concrete's very expensive.
So we're at all in. We're at about $230,000, and we keep tweaking it. So just minor things now.
Now, what is your nightly rate on average?
So during the week we do $229, and Tuesdays and Wednesdays we do a single night if there's a business traveler. The other nights, Thursday through Tuesday. I'm sorry, Thursday through Monday. We're a 2-night minimum at $259, and then if it's a holiday weekend, like a 3-day weekend, we charge $299 per night.
Awesome. And then your occupancy rate? So
for fall is our busy time. So our occupancy rate for the fall was 88%.
Incredible.
And yeah, that's
crazy for us. It was really good.
Yeah, we feel like we're still learning from it, and so being our second fall season, it blew past our expectations. Our annual occupancy rate is about 60%. So
that's still amazing.
January and February are typically going to be your slower months, and then we start picking up. But like last December, we had 2 stays booked, so like 4 or 5 nights for the whole month. That's all we had, and we were really questioning, what have we gotten ourselves into this year? And we've used some different influencers. This year we've got 26 nights booked for December.
That's incredible.
In November we had 29 booked.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a little crazy too, because trying to make sure that you have your cleaners all set up and everybody's codes set up for the doors, and I didn't always do very well at that. Luckily, our daughter, he double checks me, and then our daughter double checks, but I may or may not have had 2 cleaners show up at the same time.
I love that. Well, that brings us to our next section, which is the dream team. It's the lifeblood behind the short-term rental. It's the handyman, it's the cleaner, it's the on-site manager if you guys have one, or it's the property manager. What does your dream team consist of, and who does your dream team consist of?
So you're looking at basically 2 of the 5 dream team.
Yep.
So that's true. We have 4 cleaners. So Stephanie manages mostly all the bookings, setting up the codes, and we try to always go back once the cleaners are done. We try to go back and double check it. We strive for a 5-star rating every time, so we're anal about how clean it is and how it is perceived by somebody when they walk in the door.
I've stayed in so many Airbnbs that were not clean.
Yeah.
That mine's not going to be that one.
Yeah, we call it the auditor, and it's the people that come in after the cleaner
to audit the place and make sure that it's put
Yeah.
together.
Right.
We don't have one currently, but that's something that we're going to implement into our business as well. I think it's such a smart idea for entrepreneurs to do that, just to keep that standard high and keep that standard of
there's just little things you could forget, which the guest might not even notice that you forgot to leave a bar of soap or the dishwashing tablet, but it's just, small things that if you have someone else walk through, it does help.
Now, Stephanie, do you guys automate your door codes, or do you yourself have to plug it in?
No, we have to enter them.
There's some really good person. Automations that
I could use some. Yeah, we had really good luck with in the beginning when we started with the Schlage, I think it's called, and they've changed
Schlange or something.
I don't even know how
something like that.
It, but
it's got to be.
They changed their app, and their app is it's crazy. So I'm not a fan.
It's a learning curve.
Yeah, yeah. But we do the same thing. We automate our door codes, but there's a lot of times
you'll have to let us know about those automated ones.
Yeah, a lot of times that we get a guest saying our code doesn't work, so we have to give them our master code. So
we've had to
I
do that too.
Exactly
just this past week.
Yeah, we were one number off on a code last week.
We were at Disney World, and they were trying to get in the door.
Okay, so you have 4 cleaners. You guys are kind of property manager, on-site property manager. And then who else do you have on your team?
That's it.
That's it.
You're looking at it. He's the handyman.
I try to, especially if we're home, when somebody checks out, we go out and look at everything, make sure there's nothing broken, nothing that's needs attention. Check the hot tub, make sure the chemicals are balanced right, and just things that a cleaner wouldn't do. Yeah, fortunately, it's a durable structure, so we really haven't had any issues with damage.
Does that $229, $259, and $299 include your cleaning fee, or is there
an
additional cleaning fee?
It's an additional on top of that.
How much do you guys charge for your cleaning fee?
We charge $100.
$100? Nice. Yeah, we're at $55, and we pay our cleaners $40 for our cleans. Yeah. Do you guys?
We go in the hole. I'll just say.
Well, I mean,
by the time we supply everything,
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of. We wash everything. There's a washer and dryer on site. We have duplicates of everything, but I want a lot of Airbnbs don't wash their comforters or bedspreads in between each guest, and we're not doing that. I'm not sleeping under one that hasn't been washed. So. Yep.
I completely understand.
There's a lot of it's mostly laundry. The cleaning is not hard. It's the laundry.
So, are you guys on Airbnb, VRBO, and all the booking platforms?
We're only on Airbnb and VRBO. Booking.com we didn't really have great luck with. We just blocked that channel. It seemed to be a little weird.
Do you guys know the percentages of direct booking, people that come to your website and book directly with you guys, compared to those other external booking platforms?
Yeah, it varies some. Like our first year, we were about half and half, our website and Airbnb. We probably only got 2 bookings off of VRBO the first year. So now we're doing more Airbnb than we are VRBO or our website. So I would say probably 58-60% is Airbnb. And then
we are getting more VRBO now.
Yeah, I would say 5 to 8% is VRBO, and then the rest of it's our website.
Incredible. And then you said you worked with influencers in the past. What has that done to your business?
Everything.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had 29 days booked, I can tell you. It made the world of difference. Our first guy that came out, Levi Kelly, he has a lot of followers on YouTube, and we got a lot of bookings off of his videos. And then we also just recently, what seems like recently, had Journey More out.
Back in August,
in August. And their one video, you don't ever know like what makes a video take off and go viral. I don't even know what it's at now, but pretty quickly it had over 2 million views.
Wow.
I don't know how many likes and comments and all so we got quite a bit of traffic from Journey More. And then we also have
partnering with those influencers. Did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you?
Well, we have a couple of friends that own Airbnbs, and our friend Mike Hicks, he kind of helped mentor us in the process of learning, since we did not know anything about running an Airbnb. And he literally schooled us in what we should and shouldn't do. And he actually recommended both of them that had been to his place and done videos for him. And then we have another friend who owns an adorable Airbnb, and he's just very creative with his videos and stuff. And so I just reached out to him, and I'm like, hey, you want to come do some content for us? And he actually, his videos took off, and he has quite a few followers, but he's not even technically an influencer, but his video took off too.
What was his name?
It's Spencer with the retreat at Fall Branch Falls. It's also in Georgia. Yeah, he's very creative, and I really liked his content. And he lives in our town, or the next town over. So he was nice enough to come over, and he's helped us out a lot too, answer a lot of questions.
That's amazing. I call it the hill we die on, and it's the things that your guests might say, hey, it would be great if you added this, or it would be awesome if you guys had this. And it's the things that we're like, we won't compromise on. It's built this way, and we like it this way, and we refuse to change it for that. Now, obviously, some reviews and some suggestions we take, some we don't, and it's the hill we die on. Is there anything that is at your silo that you guys refuse to amend or change, and that you guys love just the way it is?
So I think the one thing that a lot of short-term rentals have is like an outdoor grill, and we don't really have a good place out of the weather for an outdoor grill. So what we did kind of as an alternative was we bought a fire pit out of a company out of Atlanta, and they offer a cooking grate. So they can still do charcoal in the fire pit and cook what they want to. Our concern was if we put it under the gazebo or on the front porch, that somebody was going to catch something on fire, or they were going to melt the paint off of the grain bin. So we just and we don't allow pets, and so that's kind of been our.
And we love pets. We would like to take our pets, but it's just hard with the allergens. And we live in the country. There's all kinds of wild animals out here. I don't want to be responsible. I think we've only had one complaint that we were kind of like scratching our head that we hadn't heard from anyone else. And the upstairs loft is the bathroom, the ceiling is open to the bedroom. There's a barn door on it, so the ceiling is open, but we had a guest complain because you could hear everything coming from that bathroom. Well, we have 2 bathrooms, so you could definitely use the other one if you were having an issue. Yeah. But we were just kind of scratching our head on that one. We're like, that's a first for us. We haven't, because I wanted a large shower. It's not a very large bathroom. I wanted a large shower, so the shower is the majority of the bathroom, and that helps, the steam and everything with the shower. But that was a first for us. We really haven't had any negative comments.
I love that. Do you guys want to expand into more structures, or are you just kind of done after one?
We're still toying with the idea.
I like to get really good at something before I try to do more. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're really just kind of hitting our prime on this. where we've always gotten positive feedback from our guests, but you keep seeing things that you want to tweak. And we've talked about possibly buying some additional property to build another structure on. We haven't really decided what that would be. The challenge is creating something unique. And
it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeping it all organized and straight. I mean, I work part-time and still try to do this, and sometimes I don't do a good job at keeping it all organized.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. You could say that twice. I don't think
it's a lot more work than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I say that it's not hard work. It's just a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
So it's not
agreed.
relatively like super challenge. Like we're not curing cancer, but at the same time, it's just a lot. It's a lot. It's
all the little details too that we try to. We provide a lot of amenities. I feel like that we haven't been offered in other Airbnbs, and just trying to make sure all that's covered. And you sometimes ask yourself, is this necessary? Do I need to provide all this?
Like, give me an example of something like that.
Oh, well, we provide the shampoo and the conditioner and soap. And then in the bathroom, we have, if you forget anything, it's in the bathroom. We have shaving cream, razors, toothbrushes, you name it. We don't always do great about replenishing them. Depending on the cleaner. And, we offer, we have a full-size washer and dryer upstairs, and we leave laundry detergent for them. And then we leave water in the fridge for them. We leave snacks. We leave a whole snack basket full of everything sweet and salty you could imagine. And then we leave them a s'mores kit for the fire.
That is some southern
so we probably price our stuff. We have a lot of expenses. We probably price ourselves out a little bit.
Now, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just think the extra touches are noticed by the guest.
I 100% agree. I also love the fact that you guys are on site, and I love the fact that you guys can say hi to them. That's something that if I was going to redo all of our properties, I'd probably choose someplace. I don't know. I struggle with the idea of liking a profitable market, but not liking the fact that when I'm on property and I'm staying on property for a couple weeks and I get to say hi to all of our guests, like I call it, I call it GR. Like we have to go on our GR, which is like guest relations. And so I take my truck and we go to all of our separate tiny homes and Airstreams, and I say hi to everyone. I get such an endorphin release when I say hi to people and they're in the middle of cooking dinner or having a bonfire, and they got beer out, tequila out, and they got music blaring, and I love showing up and just saying, hey, how you doing? I get such a great feeling for that. So I think that what makes you guys special is that you're able to not only have the amenities in your property, but also that human interaction, I think is so crucial.
And we kind of leave it in the guests, in their hands. If they reach out to us, then we of course reciprocate. We don't go give a tour when they get here. I send them a text when they get here. Some never respond to the text, and some just respond immediately. It's amazing. It's beautiful. We want to know all about it. So we just kind of leave the ball in their court and see where it goes to.
I think that's the right way to do it. I really do think that is
I think some people are nervous about having their privacy, and worried that with us living on the property, they're not going to have any privacy. But there's literally been, a lot of guests, we don't ever meet them. We don't need, I couldn't tell you what they look like. So they have plenty of privacy.
Where the grain bin is sitting, faces west, so they get the sunset over Lookout Mountain. But basically behind the silo or to the side of the silo is about a 10 or 12 acre pasture. And so we'll get deer and turkey that come out of the woods, and you get that kind of peaceful setting, and you can be in the hot tub and watch the sunset over the mountain. And so it's a really kind of a calm, chill environment.
Let me ask you this. What was the difference financially in including that hot tub, and would you guys do it again if you were going to do it all over again?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
It's helped our bookings.
We're with the hot tub was around. We kind of went middle of the road for the brand or quality of the hot tub. So we spent about $12,000 on the hot tub, and then we, of course, had the construction of the grain bin. So we were at about $18,000 on the gazebo grain bin, and $12,000 on the hot tub. So $30,000 for that addition.
But I think it has made a difference in our bookings.
Yeah. You do, yeah.
I do. I mean, it's more work too. I mean, the hot tub is more work, trying to make sure it's clear, and when you have this many guests in and out of it, you know, and we don't ask. The only thing we ask our cleaners to do is, you know, to let us know if it looks cloudy, you know, just eyeball it, make sure there's no trash in it. And then, you know, let us know if it looks like it needs attention. And then he takes care of the hot tub. We don't ask the cleaners to do that.
I know
we have
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we have a swimming pool, so I'm familiar with kind of how to keep the water balanced and the chemistry right. It's a little different on a hot tub, and of course, the more people you got in the hot tub, the more work you got to do with your chemicals.
Yeah. Now, and I've talked to a lot of Airbnb hosts or other type of short-term rental hosts that have hot tubs, and the maintenance on hot tubs alone are extremely time-consuming and could be monetarily consuming as well. Have you guys had any big issues with it, or has it just been smooth sailing?
Learning the chemistry on it has been a little challenging, but once you kind of get a routine, we bought a brand new hot tub, so we've not had any mechanical issues. We've got a really good relationship with a local pool company that we bought the hot tub through, and so they're a good resource to say, okay, what do I need to do? It's wintertime. What do I need to do now? And what maintenance do I need to do for the pumps and anything on the hot tub? So they're a good source, and they're 15 minutes away. So we can always rely on them to come out if something goes wrong that I can't handle.
We have a few guests that never even go out there, like don't use it at all. But I would say probably 80% of them do use it. And some of them, that's like, well, for instance, the last couple of weeks, we've had a burn ban in our county and all the surrounding counties, because we had, until yesterday, we had not had any significant rain since August. And so everything was so dry, there was a burn ban. So we had to tell our guests they couldn't build a fire in the fire pit area. And I know a lot of them were super disappointed, in that. But, in telling the guests that, they're like, oh, as long as we have the hot tub, that's what we came for. So, okay.
I love it. I call it experiential travel because I really do think that what we offer isn't just a place to stay for the night, but it's a place to disconnect in order to reconnect. It's a place to get out in nature, get out away from the crazy world, and reconnect with your loved ones. I know that
there's just something there about the silo. I can't explain it. That we've had guests. It's just so peaceful. It's like you walk in. I mean, I want to stay out there. Honestly, it's just so peaceful out there. And we've had multiple guests in our guest book write about how peaceful it is out there, and it just felt like home, and it was cozy. And
you look at the pictures and you get a feel for it, but it is a different feel when you're actually inside.
Yeah, it's much larger than what you can't portray in a picture. the size.
Is there a story
of it.
that stands out to you guys that kind of solidifies your why in what you're doing?
We had a couple celebrating their 59th wedding anniversary last month or month before, and their son booked it as a surprise for them. And we fell in love with this couple. They were from South Alabama, and they were celebrating 59 years. They had no idea the son only gave them the address, didn't tell them what they were pulling up to. And when they pulled up and saw it was a grain bin silo, they were just floored. And she said, when we went in, we just couldn't believe that it was a house inside. And we went out, and they wanted to meet us, and we sat out there and talked to them for probably 3 hours and just had the best time with them. They were the sweetest couple. The man was trying to try to remember how to take selfies so he could take selfies with us to send to his son, to tell his son he had new friends in Georgia. It was so cute, but they were the sweetest couple.
I love that. Isn't that what it's all about? I feel like when I thinking about what I've done work-wise in the past, and then looking at what we're doing now, it's just like the net positive impact I think that these places are having on people it's remarkable. Hearing stories like that, hearing stories of people coming for their 59th anniversary and being able to get out from the city or from wherever they're at to then enjoy a property like this is really remarkable to hear.
I think that's what we're trying to sell is the experience.
And we take everything so personally. Like, if you don't like something, like, I'll probably get my feelings hurt. But, I mean, if it's like decor or something like that, that's okay. And not everyone is going to think the same as me. But we got our first 4-star review, and I was devastated. Completely devastated, because we had 18 months. They didn't tell us.
Well,
it was the location. And they chose the location based on their granddaughter's wedding. She was getting married close by, and that's why they chose this area. I didn't pick the wedding.
They rated it great on being clean, on having all the amenities that they wanted.
It's like 5 stars all the way across the board, besides the overall.
But 4 overall.
Yes.
We did the same thing. Literally, we had a guest 5 stars across the board. The review was amazing stay. We loved it. And then it was a 3-star overall rating.
Yeah.
Maybe people just don't understand the impact that the review has. And I'll be honest, until we started this, I didn't always leave a review. I didn't. I didn't understand. I had no idea.
I didn't understand the impact of reviews before I started this. Ever since I started, I mean, you could literally like spit on me at a restaurant and I'll still leave a 5-star review. I'm like, I'm so like cautious about the reviews I leave now, just because I know how much it impacts businesses having those reviews. And that's the one thing I would agree with, is that Airbnb specifically needs to communicate to their guests how important that overall score is, because you could be rated a 0 on all of your metrics but have a 5 overall score and be fine. So
I was devastated. 18 months, perfect 5s, and then we get 1 4.
Yeah, I think we've got about 60 reviews now, and they were all 5-star except for that one.
And they left a really positive note too. That was the thing. Like, it was nothing negative in it.
Do you guys respond to the reviews or no?
I don't think we responded to that one. And I don't.
No,
I don't know that. I don't on the Airbnb page. I don't know that I do respond to them. Any of them, even the good ones, I probably should. But
we really have not had.
I personally respond to them.
We haven't had any issues that need to be addressed, and so if we give them a good review and they give us a good review, we just kind of let it go at that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I will say that I haven't always given reviews at some Airbnbs were not going to get a good review from me, so I just didn't do a review.
Which is better. A no-star review is better than a 0 to 4-star review.
My mother always said, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. So there's been a few, we just don't say anything.
It's probably smart. Well, guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I've learned so much from you guys, and I wish nothing but amazing, amazing success for you guys in the future. And I'm so excited to see if you guys build the second one, how that goes as well.
Well, thank you so much.
So where can people find your guys' Instagram and website?
Yeah, so on Instagram and Facebook, it's just the silo at Gene Acres. And then our website is just geneacres.com.